Hey everybody, this is True Demon, the Devil Stockbroker, coming to you with a trading signal that we received on DraftKings. So DraftKings, which you probably heard of if you're into sports at all, but DraftKings is a fantasy sports betting company. They provide online gambling services for sports bets, and it's been a traditionally very profitable company. They haven't been doing very well recently in their stock price. There was a lot of shorting and a lot of rumors against them. Most of them unfounded rumors, um, like about like black market gambling and stuff like that that were circulating in China. It was totally unfounded rumors that got repeated by Hindenburg. So those reports were completely like there was no basis for them. But regardless, the stock sold off. So DraftKings, their stock has not been doing well right now. If you look at them on the daily, their RSI was oversold down here. It's been oversold for a long time, since like late November, and it's continuously hit oversold. The MACD is way low, and the OBV is pretty much is pretty much, oh, wow, like negative 358. So this is something to pay attention to. This is a massively oversold stock that it's consistently profitable. The earnings keep disappointing, but the profits for the company are there. The company isn't actually doing poorly. Um, and for a long time, like their stock was pumping, like all throughout the COVID pandemic, because of people continuously betting on sports. Because what the hell else were we going to do in the pandemic? So now we've got a catalyst. So uh, everybody who's not into sports ball like myself, I had to educate myself on this because I don't pay attention to sports ball. But football season is coming to a close, and we have the Super Bowl Sunday this weekend. So because of that, there's going to be a ton of sports betting on DKNG. But that's not all. Somebody else is making a huge Super Bowls bet on DKNG in the stock market. Options market is showing a massive amount of bullish flow on DKNG. So first, I want to let everybody know, give credit where credit is due. Your boy Milt is he's a stock trader that often posts on Twitter. He actually alerted me to this one, just by virtue of this tweet here. Pointed out some extremely bullish flow, and these numbers are now old actually because they printed about 2 3 hours ago or so. This really got my attention. So I'll just go ahead and quickly summarize what Milt was talking about. Um, DKNG February 11th calls for $24 strike were trading at an insane amount of volume. Most of this volume came in within just the last couple of days. And the volume on February 18th has been pumping as well. These $28 calls, more than I want to say 5,000 volume was added as the OI pushed up against 2,000, and then uh, calls for $25 had 11,000 volume with a most of it being added to the OI. So this is mostly buying of new written calls. So we can illustrate this on the chart here. If you look, the red bars here on this chart for this is $28 calls for February 18th. The red volume bar, this is just volume on it, and then the OI on those calls is the blue bar here. So these were pushing 2,500 open contracts for February 18th. Just a massive amount of volume. The OI increased by nearly 1,000 today, just today. So there's a lot of bullish volume coming into this stock for $28 strike DKNG. By the way, I just want to preface, now that I've said this, I want to remind everybody I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. I'm just reading out the data as it was presented to me, and I happen to agree with it. I have taken a position in DKNG. I am extremely bullish on the stock. I would, as in my own strategies, I tend to be very conservative in how much time I give myself. I love to give myself more than 30 days to expiration when I take bets like this because it gives you the opportunity to be right and it also gives you time to get out of your position if you're wrong. So It does limit your exposure to volatility, so there's a chance that if it does run, you won't make as much profit as if it were to run next week and you bought calls for next week. But if you're wrong, then and those calls don't, and if that call doesn't work out for you, then those calls would be worthless in just a matter if the price went down just a few dollars. So I like to be conservative. I like to give myself a lot of time. So for that reason, I I bet further out. Yeah, when I bet further out the money, I give myself time. So going a little bit further, this is the flow on visible alerts for DKNG with more than holy moly. I'm gonna have to find out what kind of filters he used to get this flow, but the volume and the premiums were more than 60% bullish on DKNG based on Milt's filters. I don't know what filters he used, but maybe we can go ahead and figure it out ourselves and see if we can print ourselves a few dollars here. So let's go take a look at some unusual whale flow. So right off the bat, we're just going to look at all calls for DKNG. Days to expiration, 30 days. We're giving ourselves 30 days. And it's premium above $50,000. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this. $50,000. The volume is 75% bullish. The premiums are 58% bullish. 61% of whales are making their purchases on the ask side, meaning they are paying more to enter their positions. And the premium is 82% on the calls. So overall, calls are what are being purchased. If we look at the premium heat map overall, almost all of the premium is focused on the $20 strike. If we look at the bullish heat map, $20 strike, that makes up for about roughly two-thirds of all the premium. Two-thirds of all the premium on DKNG is targeting the $20 strike price for February 18th. A lot of new calls have been put out here on the $28 strike and the $25 strike. A lot of this is new volume. See if we can go ahead and look at a few others. Let's go look at the $25 strike calls. Look at that. Look at that OI. Holy smokes. So the OI on the 18th of February has been rapidly increasing, and look at the volume that we saw today. Just wow. The ask was at $1.04 at the high point. Almost all of the premium, almost all of the positions that were leveraged here were hitting the ask between, say, from the morning bell till about what would this be? 11 o'clock? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Wait, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 o'clock. So up till 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when most of this premium was pushing. So I mean, good lord, 7 days. There's a second piece to this. So focusing on the bullish premium, the $20 strike is obviously what's got most people's attention. Let me go ahead and bring back our trading view charts. Trading tarts. You know what? That actually doesn't sound too bad. So looking at all of this OI, $20 has only been in the money for a short period of time, just to the end of January. This was the dip. All right, like this this was the dip. $20 strike. If anybody caught $20 strike from here till about like $21, they're doing really well right now. I'm expecting, I suspect that whales made that move, catching the bottom, and now we're expecting a massive move to the upside. Uh, Little side note: I notice inverse head and shoulders on the OBV, which is interesting. Um, I don't, I don't normally do this, but just because we're trying some new things here, if we look at this as a technical pattern, the inverse head and shoulders, if we would see this on the price, which you can kind of see it on the price, it's a little wonky, but you could read this as a head and shoulders pattern. Um, but looking at the OBV, it's very clear that it's a head and shoulders pattern, and I'm just kind of curious, like what's going to happen? Like if we actually crack the neckline on this one, what would that look like? Because if I'm if I'm using a neckline on this, I'm gonna pretend that this is a much more clear head and shoulders than it is, then it would be right about here. So the price that we'd be looking at would be about $24.50. That could be something. So I'm just throwing out a little bit of wild speculation. I'm not sure if anybody else does this, but DKNG really putting out a lot of strong bull signals that have definitely got my attention. So I went ahead and I opened up a position for February, and I'm going to go ahead and make that. Uh, I'm just going to see what happens next week after Super Bowl.